Salarah Starre is a UK-based advanced law of attraction teacher trainer, coach, public speaker, and leading wellness expert. She will share life-changing wisdom about the law of attraction and how you can use this powerful universal law to build a foundation for bigger and bolder manifesting results. It is time to create the life you deserve, and with Salarah's help, you will.
And a very, very warm welcome to Manifesting Made Easy with myself, Salarah Starre. Once again, it's an absolute delight to be with you, and I love nothing more than to help you master your manifestations and your life. I spent so much of my life chasing, forcing, pushing, trying to make things happen, and it was just hard work, frankly. So manifesting didn't really feel like it was fun. It had moments of fun, but in the main, I felt like it was more of a battle of the game of survival of the fittest. So I have decided to share my wisdom with you through these podcasts to help you unleash your master manifestor within you. And each episode, we discuss something unique and a completely different angle to the law of attraction. So trust that you are listening to the exact show that you need at the right time. And thank you as well for those of you who have shared the show with other people. I also really appreciate that too. I believe that this wisdom and these teachings are very, very important, especially now, so that we can remember the power that we have inside of us to create the reality of our choosing rather than living life by one of default. So I'm here as your weekly antidote, your weekly reminder to help you remember that you are a powerful creator, and it's just making sure that you connect with your own unique success formula in order to help you to create. So today I thought we would do a little bit of a dive into signs and synchronicities and magic from the universe. We have touched on this briefly in a previous episode on 4D manifesting, which I highly recommend you listen to the 3 series. So it's 3D, 4D, and 5D manifesting. It gives absolutely fantastic insights into when we are asleep manifestors, awake manifestors, and embodied manifestors. And yes, believe it or not, there is a massive difference in all of them. I started receiving signs from the universe quite early on, actually, but I didn't know that they were signs. It was only when I started learning about signs that I recognized that I had already been receiving them most of my life. So you might find that this is the same for you. But when we start to wake up to the power that we have inside of us and the law of attraction and all these other wonderful universal laws that power up the law of attraction, we're no longer limited to living life through our ordinary 5 senses. We start to notice something else magical happens. Our intuition starts to grow, and we also start to notice that the universe is indeed throwing us breadcrumbs, if you like, a bit like in Hansel and Gretel, and giving us signs along the way. So these signs, some of them can be for waking us up, right? So there's different types of signs. You might get signs that you notice repetitive patterns and cycles in relationships, signs for general guidance, and a lot of them are easier to spot once you have moved into a more open and expansive way of thinking and seeing the world. So it's a complete shift in paradigm, basically. So the universe will always find multiple ways to communicate with us and point us in the right direction, and also sometimes just to offer us reassurance, because sometimes we might feel a bit insecure with our circumstances, or we might be worrying about something that might be happening. So the universe will also send us signs to reassure us that we are on the right track and that everything is working out for our highest good. I know a couple of years ago, we went through quite challenging times financially, and I couldn't really see how we were going to make our way out of it. I always knew that the universe had our back and that everything always works out. And I've got evidence of that because my whole entire life, it has been evident that the universe has our back or has had my back. Sorry, my earphone just fell out then. So, it's kind of like I have more evidence to suggest that the universe supports me than the other way around. But I still, when I go through challenging times, I naturally doubt that. And you're probably thinking, yeah, that's the same for you too. So one particular time I went for a walk into our local town, and there's this little place that you can go and put your secondhand books, and you can do like a book swap type thing, a bit like you have in the the old phone boxes. They turned into little swap shops, really, little libraries. And I decided to pick a book at random, and I opened the book on a random page, and I opened my eyes on a specific sentence, and that sentence was exactly what I needed to hear in that moment to help me feel reassured that everything was working out. In fact, it was the weirdest thing that had happened. The sentence was so spot on, uncannily spot on, that I went there the next day to try and do the same. Anyway, I think, the universe is going, right, we've given you your message, don't exhaust us now. It's a bit like when, we might kind of pick out oracle cards every single day, or sometimes a few times a day, just to kind of continuously get the reassurance. It starts to become a little bit diluted. So sometimes the messages that the universe sends, they are subtle. And other times, like my example of the book, they are so profound that it's absolutely hard to deny. And what I found is that the key to learn how to recognize and decipher them is practice. You will have your own unique ways, right? Because I use numbers. I use the book method that I explained a moment ago when I hear something 3 times or more, but I'm going to go into those a little bit more. So the key is to learn and to decipher the signs for you. And now these are intended, the signs generally are intended to either wake you up because there is another lesson to learn, or they could be as general guidance to help you on your way. And I just want to add here that receiving signs aren't always the beautiful, angelic, joyful experience that you would anticipate them to be, annoyingly. Sometimes they can actually be downright ugly. But how do you know what it is that you're looking for? So one way that it was described to me through one of my teachers, Yehuda Berg, in one of his podcasts, he didn't say it exactly the same way as I'm just about to illustrate it here, by the way, but it was something similar. He said, imagine that you are in the army and you're sharing a dorm with 12 other people. And knowing that you have to be up and about by 5:30 sharp, fully dressed, beds made, ready to go, that kind of army environment, because the drill sergeant is a force to be reckoned with, and he's always bang on time. And if we aren't up and ready collectively, then you'll have to face the grueling punishment. So 11 on your unit are up and ready, standing by their beds on time and ready for inspection, but you are fast asleep, blissfully unaware of the clock ticking away. And several of the other unit, they make gentle attempts to try and wake you up, but unfortunately they don't have any luck. And as the clock ticks nearer and nearer to inspection time, panic starts to set in. People start rushing around the dorm, and eventually drastic measures are called for. So with a bucket of cold water and a swift lifting of your bed, you land with a thud on the floor, soaking wet because somebody has gone and got a bucket to help with the waking up process, and you looking bewildered, just asking, what did you do that for? Why did you do that to me? Now, this is my way of illustrating that this is also how the universe works. We will get gentle nudges, gentle whispers, and then it starts to get louder and louder and louder until eventually the universe has to go and get a great big baseball bat and hit you around the head. So, you might be looking back and you're thinking, well, actually, yeah, I do recognize that. And I do resonate with that, because I know that the universe had been whispering to me multiple times and I wasn't paying attention, not on purpose. I just didn't understand and I just didn't recognize the signs. But now I do. I've learned to recognize the signs and to pay attention as a result of my own experience with the way the universe communicates with me. So an example might be that you receive little warning signs. It might be that you need to slow down, that you might need to take some time for yourself. But because you ignore the signs, the universe finds a way to make you stop, and can manifest in illnesses, in accidents, injuries that force you just to take time out and to heal. Now, this is just generalization, right? This is just food for thought, just coming to this with curiosity and say, oh, okay, well, was I before X, Y, and Z happened, was I rushing around? Wasn't I taking time for myself? Another example was when, or for me certainly, is when I've had flat tires in the past. I've always seen that as my energy's flat and I literally have no energy to carry on. And through a particular time in my life when I had been diagnosed with an autoimmune disease, I was pretty poorly. I was getting a lot of flat tires around that time. So yeah, I'd be very, very interested. So drop me an email, salarah@salarahstarre.com, and let me know what your particular signs are. I'd be very, very interested to hear. So it's important to know as well that the universe isn't something outside of you. It's a force within you. It's a force around you. So that the signs that you receive, there are also in everyday things and situations. So it could be songs that come on the radio. In fact, I've got a really good story about that. I remember I was going through a particular challenging time. Yes, I've had loads of challenging times too, but they've all helped me grow. And as I reflect on this particular one, the song that I used to love playing a lot at the time was George Michael. You got to have a faith, the faith, the faith. I got to have a faith, the faith, the faith. And I was just trying to drum into myself to have faith, basically. Plus, I like the song. But it was in the days where we had those tape players. And I played and played this tape over and over again till eventually the little ribbon in the tape snapped. And at exactly the same time on the radio was the same song, but exactly the same place that it left off. I mean, what on earth were the chances of that? And it's things like this. There's just no shadow of a doubt that there is more going on than what meets the eye. And from that moment onwards, and many other moments onwards, I have not had a doubt that the universe absolutely has our back. It's on our side and it's conspiring for us to reach our dreams and our goals. It's just learning how to interpret the signs along the way so that you could get them in everyday things. Like I was explaining, it could be on the radio, like songs, hearing the same song 3 times or more, or just a song coming on whilst you're thinking about something. When I was thinking about my dad, and, you know, his favorite song was I'm Loving Angels Instead. And, you know, that became the song that I played at his funeral. And one day I was thinking about my dad and I was at the traffic lights and the song came on the radio. So it's little things, I'll say little things, they're big things really, right? But it could come while you're washing the dishes, while you're in traffic, having a conversation with a friend, signs in the street, oracle card readings that jump out from the deck. The list is endless. I asked the angelic realm to prove to me that they existed, because I had heard that if you see feathers, the angels tell you that they're around. And you know what, I was just like, I really, really would love a sign to know that I do have a guardian angel and that I am supported. And having read about all these signs people were getting, I thought I hadn't had any signs. And it wasn't until my daughter came back from school and I took her cardigan out of her bag and I hung it up that I noticed 2 little white feathers in her cardigan. And it was the next morning that I realized the road that her school is on was called Angel Crescent. So again, things like this, it all adds up and all helps us to create our own unique signs, if you like, so we can get our own little dictionary of signs. So like I said, one size doesn't fit all. It's absolutely personal to you, personal to your circumstances, and you can learn to start intuiting them for yourself on your own level of consciousness and with regards to whatever is going on with your current situation. So like I said, I have been receiving these for years and years throughout my life. My dad had a very dogmatic approach to sharing his wisdom with me. He's been into this stuff for a long, long time. And I was filled with so much fear around all of this metaphysical stuff as a result of it. And for a long, long time, I shut it out at all costs. And I'll speak with you on one of our podcasts as with regards to a chance meeting that I had with a medium. Actually, I'm going to write that down because this all played a massive role in my evolution with the law of attraction. So I'm going to speak with you next time about spiritual awakening. I'm just writing that down now because I think that this is going to tie in very beautifully with what we're sharing here today. And I think you might find my experience interesting and insightful for you on your journey as well. But let's go in and have a look at some of the signs that we might see. So they can happen in everyday occurrences, like I said. You know, you can Consider the signs as the universe's way of getting your attention, communicating with you. And you don't really have to be spiritual or religious to understand the signs of the universe and how the universe communicates. It could just be communicating with your higher self, or whatever you believe the dynamics of the universe are and how it's constructed. So just take the bits that resonate, the bits that don't, just let them pass you by. But it is important to remain open and to learn how a lot of this stuff works, and weave it into a way that works for you and into your life to help you along your way. So music and songs, like I said, they can send you messages, a bit like the example that I gave you. You might find some of the lyrics jump out at you, or the song might come on at a specific time in your life as well. I kind of alluded to it, touched on it briefly earlier, hearing the same thing. So hearing things 3 times or more has always been a sign for me. If I hear something once, I don't really pay much attention. If I hear it twice, I do sit up and pay attention. 3, it's like, right, that's absolute confirmation for me to follow the guidance. And another one of my favorite ones, repetitious numbers. So I started seeing a lot of 1111, and I just kept looking at my phone, or we had this alarm pad in the entrance hall of our house, and I'd glance at it, it'd be 1111, or I'd wake up in the morning at 555, or I would see number plates with 444. And so many, there's so many. I invite you to do your own kind of work and investigation on that. But a lot of these usually mean that you're on the right path, or each number has a specific message for you. And I mean, if you look into numerology, the study of numbers, they help you to interpret the number meanings. And also Kyle Gray has written a really lovely book called Angel Numbers 2. But if you're not into the angel thing, then you can just Google it. So you can find a way to interpret the numbers for yourself. So the next one then is through people. So hearing the same thing from different people is a really, really big sign, whether it's overhearing a conversation or somebody randomly saying something that is relevant guidance that you might be seeking. That's always worth paying attention to, so remaining open. And of course, random events like synchronicities they're not really directly connected to anything, but you have like an inherent knowing that they are linked in some way, and they have caught your attention. I mean, these are some of the most powerful signs in the universe. Of course, it can also come through dreams. You can have loved ones from the other side coming in message, letting you know that they're safe. I know when my dad died 3 weeks later, I got a very, very, very vivid dream. And he said to me, my girl, I've got to go now, but I want you to know that I love you very much. And, that just blew me away. It makes me feel a little bit emotional now, even mentioning that. So also prophetic dreams as well. So those are important, once again, to take a look at and do some research around and learn a little bit about. And it can also be literal signs and images. Could be a poster, an advert on the side of a van with words, with pictures. They will definitely get your attention. So last but not least, your body. Your body speaks to you all the time, letting you know about unresolved emotional issues or stresses, especially if you have aches and pains. Your body responds to the way that you think and feel. And developing an awareness of your body can offer such great guidance as to whether you are in or out of alignment. So there are loads more different types of signs, and your soul will have a specific preferred way of receiving them as well. So enjoy taking some time now to get your own little dictionary of what your own signs are, because these are amazing signposts along the journey. But I've got a little bit of an exercise for you now. So when it comes to signs, asking for signs, do be specific and clear. So when you're asking for a sign from the universe, you need to be really clear about what it is. So you can say, is X, Y, and Z the right path for me? And then you need to name the sign that you would like to see. So I always ask to see an owl as confirmation that I'm on the right path for something, but you might ask for another symbol or a number or animal or something like that. And then you can use gratitude to specify when you'd like to receive a sign by. So thank you, universe, for showing me an owl in confirmation to X, Y, and Z within 72 hours from now, or 48 hours, whatever it might be. And sometimes not getting a sign is a sign, okay? So it's important also to let go of the outcome. The sign will come to you in the most meaningful and surprising way. But like I said, it's important to note that sometimes not getting a sign is a sign, especially if the question was, show me if this is the right path. If you don't get a sign, it may not be right for you at this time, but it does take time to work with this and to begin to pay attention in your environment. I remember asking for an owl. It was about a year ago. I can't really remember what it was. And I was working with a client on Zoom, and on her windowsill behind her was a greeting card with an owl on it. I was like, oh my God, the universe has amazing ways to bring us these signs. So when you start to understand more of this, it can be a great fun working with the universe on signs. In actual fact, running the show to me has really reminded me today just how powerful signs are. So I am going to do a little bit of that myself again today. So thank you for taking the time to listen. I really appreciate it. If you could like and share as well, because it really helps to get this wisdom out there. I think we need it more now than ever. And sending you lots and lots of love. And I look forward to seeing you here or somewhere soon. All right, take care. Bye for now.
Thanks for listening. Salarah Starre will be back next week with great insights into the law of attraction. In the meantime, please visit salarahstarre.com.